Fnatic looking bland. Super team suck, don't you fucking understand? Upset gonna choke, got to call the referee. Pause hack won't save you when we ban Zeri. Call me a spreadsheet boy, whole team erase. Time to lose control, H find and replace. I've got an equation that you should embrace. Your L plus this ratio equals disgrace.
Ooh, that stings. I am sure if you are Fnatic, it is Excel who pick up a huge win on the red side, especially when we take into account the pre-game interview that Youngbuck gave about the strategies that they have prepared and how he said, if we are on red, a side that we have historically struggled with in summer, we have so much prepared if we win that first game, and they'll have to ban a certain champion, maybe the whole series. I mean, come on. Let's take a look at the team comms. Now, I'm going to put you both a little bit on the spot, because all I heard in the green room was, Excel's draft, they don't have range, they don't have damage, how the hell are they going to win? Well, how did they win?
Broxah!
I guess it was a Nila gap.
Okay.
I was pretty skeptical about this champion going into the game, because from everything we've seen so far of this champion in competitive, it just hasn't looked great. But in this game, it just worked out so perfectly with the Excel's comp, with the front line usually. Finn and Markoon would be able to get them low with some help from Nukeduck, and then Patrik would jump in and just finish them off. It just worked out so beautifully.
And I feel like on the other side, it sums up what we were saying about Fnatic as well. They have a triple lane threat every single game. And as you can see, every lane had a carry in it. Every lane did pretty well. Humanoid was not dying in the early game. Gwen for Wunder was getting so many kills, and Upset got an entire tower of tower platings early on. Now the problem is that both Trundle and Sejuani have huge base damages, and even though these guys can get ahead, they're all extremely squishy. That's what we came at towards the end with Broxah. So we're like, you get them low enough with the tanks, the carries such as Nila will just finish people off.
So the story changed from, well, theoretically they shouldn't have enough damage into, but because they're pretty squishy and they have beefy front line, they can win the fights when it gets super late. But that's not how it first looked, because first it looked good for Fnatic, right? You have your Lucian Nami lane, you want to get ahead. Gwen was doing fine, the mid lane was doing good. We're going to take a look at a dragon fight 17 minutes into the game, and you kind of see how it is supposed to work for Fnatic. So I do have to say, after we watch this fight, I'm surprised they gave this up, Broxah, after winning this fight so handily.
Yeah, at first it just seemed like Excel wouldn't be able to team fight Fnatic, and all Fnatic was just, you know, running them down like we're seeing right now. And the damage simply wasn't there. Like, we see Fnatic walking into Excel. Excel is trying to fight back, and while they have one member down, you know, they still have some damage left, but they just can't get it done. Patrik gets hit by a charm, dies immediately, and the fight is over. Like, they just got completely steamrolled.
And something else here, Fnatic are fighting on a pretty wide range. There's no close walls, there's no big choke points for Lissandra to play her game, for Sejuani to zone everyone off. They pick off Markoon first, then they knock people away with the Poppy. So it was a very split up skirmish, if you will, from Excel, and they were able from Fnatic to pick them apart, having the Ari with the resets and having the Lucian to follow up.
And then I find how the game progressed really interesting, because you think the team fights are just going to keep going this way, especially if your Lucian is hitting so hard, Trouble. That's not what happened. Talk us through the Baron you want to show us.
All right, so I think one of the game-breaking fights in this particular game was that Baron fight that ended up going really, really south for Fnatic. So let's break this down. I'm going to bring the minimum up, and you'll see that Fnatic are actually all gathered up at Baron, and they're doing this. Why are they doing it? Because Markoon, together with Mikyx on the Yuumi, are all the way back in base. So they're like, the faster we can burn this, the easier it will be for us. Now, the problem here is, I'm going to clear out this and show you what Excel are trying to do here. They're trying to sandwich Fnatic in the Baron, because they have one tank coming from the top side, they've got Nukeduck coming from the other side, and then Markoon will also make his way through a third side. And what's happening is, as I'm going to keep playing this, I'm going to highlight, my sleeve is doing things, I'm going to highlight this, because the only one with flash is going to be Hylissang on that Nami, and this is where Excel set their sights on. They look at the Nami, they perma-CC with the Lissandra and the Sejuani, and this is where trouble begins. Because if you look at the HP, it's only 2.6, which means whoever stays in the pit can actually burn the Baron down, whilst on the other hand, Upset focuses most of his time DPS and Finn on the Sejuani. Finn is going to start running away. Meanwhile, your Gwen is getting 1v1 by Patrik's Nila, and the Baron is extremely low. So bunch of Excel members staying in the pit, taking down the Baron, whilst Upset, who's the big hitter for the side of Fnatic, is chasing away Finn, who, by the way, gets away with his life. So I feel like the fact that Fnatic played so chaotically around this, the fact that Hylissang died first, which means that the Nami Lucian combo cannot come into fruition. You don't have the speed ups, you don't have the heals, you don't have the movement speed. It becomes really difficult.
I'm going to say great target selection then from Excel, but Broxah, it feels like with some different decision-making, that fight could have still gone differently for Fnatic.
Oh, definitely. I think this is just one of those big team fights where Fnatic were not playing as a team. Huli got caught out immediately, so the fight is 4v5, and it's difficult already from that point on. But just impressive team fighting from Excel, and really smart by Finn, you know, moving out of the fight, and, you know, Sjokz that Upset overchased him from a Fnatic point of view, but really clean by Excel.
Talk to me about Nila then, because we weren't happy, right? Generally before, also seeing Patrik having played it before. What is it about her kit that works so well into Fnatic's late game comp?
So if you look at the entirety of Fnatic, they're very short range. They've got melee with the likes of Gwen, they've got very short range on the Lucian, Squishy in the likes of Nami, Ari likes to jump in as well, and Poppy of course. So when all of these members bunch up around you, think of Nila, even if you haven't seen the champion, as a type of Samira champion. She wants to dive in, she has an Orianna ult on herself as her own ultimate, and she starts dishing out damage in very close proximity. And when you have such beef walls like Lissandra, Trundle and Sejuani peeling for you while the opponents are on you, you're able to dish out so much damage. And we mentioned it, the fact that you have the Yuumi to shield and heal you permanently means that you are sustaining more through these fights, even if you're short range.
I think the Yuumi pick is a very big one here, because one of the problems with Nila is the fact that you have to chase down people, run into them with your short range, but Yuumi enables that. She can speed her up, she can slow down the opponents, and you know, Patrik and Mikyx just completely took over this game as a duo.
Yeah, it all comes up Yuumi again, right? Now it is with Nila. Wow, the cat. So, yeah, let's talk about how the series is now going to progress. Since Fnatic lost, they can pick the side again. Now, this isn't as threatening as it was before when Excel had such a bad record on red, but what Youngbuck said there, Broxah, about if we pick up this first win with the draft we have in mind, we can just build off that so much. Tell me about how comfortable of a position that is to be in as Excel right now.
Well, there's no doubt that the Fnatic coaching staff has a big decision to make right now, because a big part of why they lost this game was the Nila, that they probably didn't really expect Excel to play. And Youngbuck was for sure referring to this pick. What are they going to do? Are they just going to permaban it? Are they going to willing to risk it again and potentially be 0-2 before, you know, realizing leaving it up was a mistake? Really curious to see it, because they're going to have to gamble one way or another.
Yeah.
I feel like Excel were ready to actually bring out the Nila, like Broxah said, because they banned Zeri and Sivir themselves, which means they didn't care about handshaking the Lucian with one of these late-game hyper carries. They wanted to play aggression straight on with Nila as a more of an early-game kind of champion who also dishes up a bunch of damage in the late game. Now, the question is, for Fnatic, I think it was a lot of execution errors as well, so I don't think it's a bit of a blunder to like choose blue again. You take it away from Excel and you try to clean up your game and decision-making.
I have an inkling that they're on blue again and they're gonna leave it up and they're just gonna make, maybe they're not, I see a salty run back. I don't know why, because I feel like they look at that game and think,
maybe the Twisted Fate from last season?
No, just think we shouldn't have, well, that's actually a great point. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Obviously, I know nothing about this. I'm just a host, but you know, knowing Fnatic, let's see though. Excel though, strike first off the back of this Nila and Patrik. Can Fnatic find a response in game 2? We'll find out with our casters.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. Now, first off, you know a lot about League of Legends. Don't put yourself down like that. You're a queen, and you should know that, okay? Maybe we will see a salty run back. What do you guys think?
I actually didn't have an issue with Fnatic's draft.
Yeah?
I thought the draft was fine. I just think that what can you do when you're not expecting the Nila to be paired with Yuumi?
Sure.
Because we had seen the Jhin Yuumi, and it just wasn't anywhere near as effective, right? And
Never again.
I think the thing about Yuumi is that while many consider her broken, I think it's fair to have that opinion, but I think that it's only on certain AD carries that she really thrives. I think that she can't just be paired with any AD carry because she doesn't function in the same way. So I think that the thing that's thrown the wrench in Fnatic is the fact that they now have this Nila pick. How will they adapt? How will they resolve this issue? We're about to find out, because we're about to jump into draft.
once again, Fnatic on the blue side, XL on the red. XL picking up only their second win of summer on the red side in the last game. Fnatic last time prioritized Lucian with 4 AD carry bans, and once again they ban out the Draven to kick us off.
So far, same stuff coming out here. At least from the side of Fnatic, Jarvan was their third ban on blue side as well, leading forward to that. XL continuing up with what they had in the first game, so now really up to Fnatic if they want to make adaptations.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
Ooh.
That's a fun fact.
Yuumi has not been played once by Hylissang this split.
Yep.
Not once.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, when you think about Hylissang, Yuumi is not really the champion that you're associated with, but Sivir is up and available along with the Yuumi. And I think XL's saying, we don't think you play it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, lock in Yuumi, see. Well, the question is, will XL have an answer for it, or will it actually be let through?
Because that's the two big things right now. You both have the Lucian Nami available, and you have this Sivir with the Yuumi. And I think Fnatic, they just go, well, we know we want the Poppy in the stable, so you go ahead and pick the first one, then we'll adapt afterwards to see how we really want to play into it.
The last game was Poppy's first loss for Fnatic this season. Played twice in week 8. Razork once again had a very good early game on it, so I don't really bemoan Fnatic deciding to lock it, but there is the Yuumi, and alongside that a Kali a possibility, but Sivir makes a lot more sense.
An AD carry not been picked up yet. I mean, still on 3. Last time is the AD carry coming through, but I think you can just pick a jungler or Sejuani comfortably if you want to keep that
who
flex
doesn't
in
play
life.
Yuumi in this meta, man? I understand the priority on Poppy, but you know that XL's just going to lock in Trundle next. Like, this is the easiest first rotation of XL's life. Yuumi, Sivir, Trundle, not only is it super meta, but it's really strong.
Well, yeah, I would go with the Trundle as well, but in the first game, they did have the priority on Sejuani, and then it was actually Fnatic who said, well, we'll keep the Trundle open. I think that was the big mind-boggling one for me as well. I think going into the second ban phase, you have to take away the Trundle. There's too much power in the skirmish in the early game to at least come in and try and force something away from the Poppy. You have the mid lane counter pick as well. You know XL is going to pick a jungler here in 4.
I mean, XL already have a very solid front-to-back teamfight scaling composition. They've removed Ornn, they're removing Gwen. XL can also, well, they don't even have to remove Trundle if they don't want to. They have a lot of flexibility here with their last ban. Depending on what direction they wanted to go to, they could also remove the Sylas if they think that it could be problematic handing that over to Humanoid, especially with things like the Sejuani ult that can be stolen away. And I understand Fnatic's logic of, well, we still have Lucian Nami, it is still very powerful. They had a very good laning phase in the last game, and we know that they can play through that lane. The problem is that if you don't successfully snowball through the early game, this Sivir Yuumi is just going to take over.
I'm very curious here. Fnatic's going down the same line as we saw in game 1 in the second ban phase, where they believe the Sejuani is going jungle. And that wasn't the case in the first game.
And of course the flex
is still alive here. But I agree. I still think like the Trundle is so good here, and having the Sejuani on the top side, especially now with Grin removed, it's only really Renekton that can contest you in lane with that Blade of the Ruined King. And outside of that factor, Finn has shown that he's happy to not play the laning phase and just run around on the map instead.
The question is whether Wunder can find something that has more impact in that top lane into a Sejuani if it does go up there. Obviously, he got very ahead on the Gwen. He was miles ahead, 2,000 gold at one point. But the Renekton is the ban here. Fnatic still thinking this Sejuani can be flexed. And of course, it can be flexed, but they're actually leaving it for last to see if it is. The Twisted Fate now locked in for Nukeduck.
Can you imagine that the Sylas is going to be the immediate response here from Fnatic?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's and instantly it is locked in. Yeah, that's a no-brainer there for Humanoid. He knows that, well, in the early matchup, it's quite favorable for the Twisted Fate, but as the game progresses, you're going to scale very well. But the question is, they're just going to blind pick the Shyvana. Okay, I mean, it makes sense. Shyvana can do very well into many tanks towards the top side of the map, but now this gives flexibility for Finn to pick a counter if he has one.
Okay, so the reason that Twisted Fate are coming in here is because that they want to bridge some of the mid lane versatility you have now with a big movement coming through
a Finn
down towards the bot. That is a Finn classic.
I love Finn's Kled. Like when he was Blomster Finn and he was playing in the regional leagues, this guy was a
you guys were there, of course.
Yeah, that was the good old days.
We're old G's, man. We're
old. Ragnarok and all of that. You are in my region.
I mean, so Finn originally, for those that don't know, was known as a Kled and an Aurelia main. These are the two champions that he pretty much exclusively played in solo queue. When he came onto the competitive stage, a lot of people were excited for his Kled, to the fact that people even banned it away from him because they were worried about playing against it. Now he's going to get his hands on it. I have no clue what a Kled's Shyvana matchup looks like, but I guess we're going to find out in this game.
Yeah, and I do believe that in general, it's going to be curious to see how the late game team fights are going to pan out, because loads of mobility on the side of XL. You can clearly see that they have loads of way to get around the map quickly with the Kled ultimate, the Twisted Fate ultimate. And I think it's really on Fnatic to come alive under this pressure as well. They have these silo ultimates to respond to the Twisted Fate, to respond to the roams, or create counter picks on other wares on the map instead with that mobility for themselves. So curious draft, and I think Fnatic, they're still happy with what they got. XL, on the other hand, coming in with something a little different from what we saw in Game 1.
Of course, this is an elimination match here in the LEC. The loser of this is out of playoffs and out of Worlds. And the last time Fnatic missed Worlds was 2016. And the last time XL made it to the second round of playoffs was never. We'll see if they can do that today as we get into Game 2. And onto the Rift we go. Last time we saw lines of scrimmage from each team. This time we see XL grouping up. 5 members strong here. Mikyx once again back on the cat, and he'll be in the hat of Sivir this game. Sivir, Zeri, the 2 main AD carries that we see in most games these days. Very strong, very powerful in that movement and mobility around the map that Sivir provides alongside the Kled, and the Twisted Fate here is definitely going to be a key to XL unlocking Fnatic in this game.
3 members of XL on the top side of the map in case any early invades are going through. Well, Nukeduck just left, and good timing because Razork's coming in. He's getting that early intel. No sweepers has been backed for. We are in a meta where, funnily enough, I was asking Broxah about this yesterday. What's the reason that you don't just press that early ward and then go for the sweeper? And the reason for it back in the day was due to the fact that almost everyone would go for an invade. So I thought with the meta coming in now that, you know, everyone's going for an invade, people would start with these sweepers instead and, you know, get that XP advantage for your solo laners or something like that, like you could right now, but it's just not been the case yet.
So, what will the adaptations be here in the early game? With information that Fnatic does in fact have on Markoon, it looks like that for the time being, Razork going to start on his Raptors. Will he path towards top side? That looks like to be the direction that he is going in.
And with the bot lane here, usually, of course, with the Lucian, you have excellent trading patterns, especially when your Nami has that electrocute. One counter to this, though, is the fact that you're playing against a Yuumi. So when the damage comes through, Yuumi, well, she decides to click that E button while she's not doing anything else, and then all of a sudden, you're equalizing that trade.
So the main reason why I think Sivir gets pushed in most lanes is just because at level 1, her wave clear is so strong. So even though Upset on Lucian can trade very effectively, I think that trading power doesn't really come in until level 2, and he's able to dash in, land the Q, and then get that extra like burst off. But in the interim, Patrik just has that immediate wave clear where he can permanently shove his opposition out of lane.
Finn still trading here onto Wunder, using that enhanced auto attacks from his W to consistently harass. For anyone that hasn't seen Kled before, a brief rundown on what the champ does. Basically, you have a charge bar underneath you, and every time that fills up, you mount onto Skull, who's your friendly reptile, who walks around with you, gives you pseudo health. Pardon?
He is cowardly.
He is cowardly, okay, yeah.
So he always runs away when you get to a certain threshold of health.
Now Markoon down towards the bot side. Skip camps once again. Looking to see if they go aggressive here. There's no really gang pattern here, but there's the chance that Upset goes in.
Upset overstepping with the melee auto attacks here for that stun. Can't quite get it. Heal burnt there as Hylissang. Oh, actually wasn't even the heal burnt. It was Mikyx's heal burnt there for a bit of extra movement speed. Upset able to get away. Ward in this bush means that Markoon will be spotted. Upset takes a boomerang blade to the back. And now Razork has to come and defend. Markoon. Oh, Razork smart here, waiting for it. There's the ward. Flash, stun against the wall. Markoon flashes away, doesn't dash with the Arctic Assault. That was smart by him, otherwise he would have been caught with a steadfast presence. And because of that, he survives. Markoon burning flash instead of Q there kept him alive.
That is absolutely crazy. Markoon does not fall there. Great setup from Razork, who had the intel he was coming in. And Fnatic, it looked like they were just going to be securing that first blood. But not the case for now, but still. Action-packed early game. No kills going down yet.
Really well played from Razork. The use of the control ward into the flash E. Fnatic was so close to getting a double buff onto Upset. And you could see he thought about flashing after the kill. He really did think about it, but he realized if I flash in, get the kill, and then immediately die, all I'm doing is handing that double buff over to Patrik, and I don't want to do that. So, for now, they'll take the flash burn. The bot crab will go in favor of XL, and look at this, Finn also securing the top crab. Means that XL will be off to a pretty good start here in the early game.
Yeah, Dual resets coming through from the solo laners. Offset still struggling a little bit.
Ooh, nice trade.
I say that. Razork around the vicinity as well. They have the interlon and he's walked over a ward.
Patrik has Ghost and Flash here, so should be able to get away from this one. Obviously, the spell shield not yet even picked up for him. He's gone double Q into W here, or W into double Q on the Sivir, so doesn't have that spell shield yet. But we'll look for that level 4. Needs probably 2 minions to get there. Can't quite get there yet. Razork's just going to come into the wave here to make sure they can push it out. Gives Upset that back. And because Markoon's on the top side of the map, it's going to be difficult for him to react.
Yeah, look at the counter response though. Nukeduck give the mid lane push. He can move up towards the top side. And wow, very curious. They're not looking for a dive here on Wunder. You have to dismount on the Kled that resets aggro. You had Nukeduck with the push. So yeah, I really thought they had an angle for a dive there.
If we could very quickly look at the bot wave state right now. Oh, we might have an opportunity to. So what Patrik and Mikyx did here was not only did they interrupt Upset's back, but they've also got the wave slow pushing towards them, meaning that when they return to the lane, Upset and Hylissang are going to lose a wave. And notice, look, they're actually back on the wave in the bot lane. They feel like they need to push this underneath the tower. Otherwise, Patrik and Mikyx are going to get a big freeze. So they're going to be heavily down on tempo. This could be a window for XL to actually secure a dragon, because now their bases are so delayed and Patrik and Mikyx are already back out onto the map. There's a very big window here, with Nukeduck being 6 as well, where XL can get this objective uncontested.
For the moment, though, both teams just having little spars, little trades, little jabs at each other in each lane, but no real consequence of those as of yet. And it gives us a good moment to talk about the history between these two teams. Obviously, Fnatic have been in the league a little while longer than XL, and this was before last game. So XL now actually have 4 total wins in the head-to-head, whereas Fnatic have 13. Across the start of the time that XL were here, they didn't win anything. But after that, in 2022, they've been able to pick up a 2-0 in Summer and looking to make it a 3-0 here in the Summer playoffs. Nukeduck, though, caught out, does have that stun card locked and will just be forced to back away.
I love the fact he's not even forced to use that flash. He could have been prepared for, you know, immediately dash, but Abscond up dot coming through from the Sylas, not going to be the case. Now bot lane priority is being gained, and look at Finn's rotation. He just hit level 6 from the Kled, and they're in a position to set up a full dive here. 5 members with Nukeduck's ultimate could be in bot in no time. But he is spotted by a ward, and Fnatic's bot lane, they're going to back off.
Wasn't spotted by the ward. The Oracles hit it before Finn got in range to see it, so it was disabled while Markoon was
hit it at the same time.
Yeah, right? But I'm pretty sure Finn wouldn't have been seen by Markoon hitting it. I think Finn has to hit it for that to happen, but of course I am very willing to be wrong in these situations, as I often am. Here comes the charge, down towards the bottom side. The acquisition coming out as well. It's dodged to the side. Twisted Fate coming in. Nukeduck looking for something with this Destiny. Hylissang will be the first to fall. Next up, Razork. Upset next on the menu, and all of XL get out alive. The dive, fantastic. The exhaust, the flash to cleanse from Upset will get him away for the moment. The Prowling projectile, not enough to lock him down. Humanoid joins the fight. Wasn't able to hijack away the Twisted Fate ultimate, meaning he was never able to get here in time.
This is the second game in a row where XL is so willing to sack the top lane from Finn's point of view to get the rest of the map going. Wunder once again is going to be accelerated on the Shyvana, but in turn they're gaining leads on all 4 of the other members that XL have on their team.
I love this play from XL so much. It's a great utilization of the Kled toolkit because of how effective he is at setting up for dives. Being able to reset that tower aggro, being able to just dive so easily makes the play very clean from XL. They walk away with 2 kills. They get a bunch of plates onto Finn as well. Razork is going to run into Markoon. Notice that Upset is in the mid lane, but he doesn't want to overcommit to this. The only real benefactor here was, of course, that Shyvana. Let's have a look back at this play. We can see Kled originally debating whether or not it's worth it. He does actually get spotted because he's outside the bush, but it's too little too late.
And this is where it's so big, the fact that he can reset the aggro, because, of course, turrets are so annoying to deal with and juggle. But as soon as that turret shot hits, no one's taking aggro anymore. Yeah. And that's the beauty of Kled. That's why it's so easy to dive with him around, and XL just completely equalizing on it as soon as that level 6 came up for Finn.
And we didn't talk about it, but Nukeduck arriving just at the right time as well.
Exactly.
Just great utilization of the Twisted Fate ultimate and overall great coordination from XL. One of the things that we've talked a lot about for Fnatic this season is sometimes they don't look like a team. Sometimes we do not see that same level of synergy that we've seen from other teams or even this Fnatic roster in the past. But XL are demonstrating phenomenal teamwork so far in this series. In Game 1, we saw how well they enabled Patrik, and in Game 2, they're looking to do the same.
And it's just one of those things where it's like you don't need a star spec rosters. You just need good teamwork at times. And I think Patrik's been willing to be the star in last game. Same for Markoon during the regular season. But the the stars that kind of are not spotted, of course, is the facilitation of Nukeduck, the selflessness we've seen from him recently, and also
Glacial Prism gonna land once again. Hylissang surviving for a long time here. The final roll-up from Patrik will be enough, but Razork comes in with a flash. Patrik trying to get away, keep his verdict. Here comes the dragon, and Smorg wants her treasure. Wunder takes a kill as Patrik falls.
Crucially
Very nice
there,
play.
Mickey was unbounding, so he couldn't get the heal. He was knocked out by Razork's ultimate as well. So he wanted to unbound, get the auto attack, get the shield, get back on, and can't try to keep Patrik alive. But unfortunate timing and great great punish by Razork either.
So what happens here for Hylissang? Because he lives for a very long time. Of course, Markoon at this point disengaging because he thinks the kill is gone. The heal comes through, which means that another auto attack has to come through for Patrik. He's then forced to overextend. A good knockup there from Patrik into the E from Wunder secures that kill. And then both teams are forced to disengage. So what was an initially good play from XL, an even better response from Fnatic to get their first kill on the board.
And had Fnatic not punished there, the Dragon would most likely just have gone over to XL and they've started to take control of the neutral objectives again. But with the course being as it is right now, both the Rift Herald and Drake is up for the taking, but currently it's XL who started off that first objective.
And it's very uncharacteristic to see the Herald go to 10 minutes. Normally, this is an objective that the second we're at 8 minutes, both these teams are scrapping over it. And Fnatic have recognized, you know what, they're not actually on this objective. They've sent no one to the top lane. They're investing in the bot side of the map. We can definitely get the trade here. And XL saying, you know what, we don't care. We'll take the bot Drake and we'll take the tower. But Wunder doing his best to wave clear will buy a little bit more time.
What's happening in the top side right now? Because that turret used to be low, right? And with Razork and Hilly making their way up there, it could be dangerous, but no. Rift Herald haven't even gone down yet. Now they turn onto it, but still, with Patrik down towards that bot lane, not suspecting that XL is looking to contest this one either.
So the main problem with this objective going down so late is what happens is you have this bot lane being able to push this wave in, then go back to base and suddenly get back out on the map first. Exactly the same for the Sejuani, which basically means that XL will permanently be ahead in tempo. They'll be able to get back out onto the map and start doing things ahead of Fnatic. This puts more pressure on Fnatic. They're going to be forced to drop the Herald now to try and match that, and while they should be able to secure the tower, they're going to be one step behind and trying to keep up with XL's pace on the map.
And had Fnatic done that just 10 seconds earlier, they at least could have secured the first turret for themselves, traded that for the goal coming through over to Patrik. But when things pans out as they do here, then the advantage still go over to Patrik, who's looking to take charge on the Sivir. And taking charge, Finn!
Razork waiting in the bush, got caught. He was on vision, so they knew that he was there, but Finn looked just to try and catch out Upset in case Razork decided to not step in front of him.
But now you can see the situation that Fnatic finds themselves in, because their bot lane still hasn't actually gone back to base yet the bot lane for XL is already here, and now they can start pushing and they can just get themselves more plates. So even though Fnatic is the benefactor of the Herald, it's actually XL's bot lane that is winning out overall. And look, you can already see a 1k gold lead. That's only going to continue to get bigger as Patrik has continued to get funneled more plates.
And even then, you still have the TF on the map, so he can quickly be on the top side to make these plays. You have to make someone respond to the mid lane. Yeah, so Upset, he's going to run into the top side, he's going to respond to it, but they're still not feeling this play completely with the top lane not being fully crashed yet. A little bit off tempo.
I will say, Sylas with the Kled ult, it just reminds me of that typical anime run. You know, the one where they put that arms
It's
behind
called the
them,
Naruto run.
It's the Naruto run.
I haven't watched Naruto, so...
Okay, it's fine. We're not getting into this debate now. League of Legends.
It's a good
Pokemon's my favorite anime.
That's fair, it's a good one. I'm looking on the map right now. To be fair, Fnatic did a good job. Considering we talked about how in terms of the map state, it wasn't a great position for them. Basically what they did was they sent Humanoid from mid up towards top. He was at risk of getting dived, as Guldborg mentioned, but they responded by immediately sending Razork towards the top side of the map and having Hylissang Shadow as well. And while they were a little bit behind on the play, they would have arrived just in time to be able to protect him in the event of a dive, and they already knew that Finn's ultimate and TP had already come through, which meant that Fnatic didn't actually end up losing that much off the play. So overall, still in a relatively even game state. XL do have a slight advantage. A lot of that in the bot lane off the back of Patrik securing so many kills and plates, but Fnatic definitely not in the worst position.
No, and you can even see it here, right? They're still able to get aggressive with some of their vision. They're still able to go in and counter jungle off some of the tempo advantages they have. When the bot lane reset, when Wunder still had to push in down towards the bot lane, even he was able to move up towards the mid lane if they wanted to assist any skirmishes. So I think it's still going back and forth. And what's really so interesting about this game is the rotations we see all the time. The small things is really what's making and breaking this early game for both teams.
With still 2 minutes left on the next Dragon, I expect we'll continue to see these lane assignments for a little while. Just have Sivir up towards that top side for XL pushing out the waves. You can look for the plates, but with only 10 seconds left, I don't think you're going to be able to see them for much longer. And they will fall off the map, and now you just get that standing gold from the tower when you manage to take it. Looks like Patrik's going to be assigned mid lane now. He's got incredible wave clear, obviously, on the Sivir with the Kraken Slayer already complete. And you can see that wave melts in front of him. Upset doing the same, just pushing out, yet to get his Mythic, but he must be almost there. If we have a quick look at his gold, sitting on about 1,000 right now, so should be very close to that Mythic upgrade.
Dragon spawning in about a minute and a half. I expect him to get it before that objective is on the map, but we can see Finn making his way towards mid. Markoon hovering, will be spotted on a ward. Razork in the fog right now. If we could quickly see what XL sees, observers. I'd love to know what information they have on the map right now. They see Upset, they see the Sylas. Now Razork will be spotted.
Culling coming out as well. Razork looking for the stun as the tower can't quite land it. And now the Glacial Prism will find him, but the Merc Tread's going to help him get away. Final chapter though still roots him up in place. Finn comes in with the charge and the Keeper's Verdict won't save Razork for long. Finn now in a bit of a bad situation as the Dragon's Descent is going to chase him in. Good stun onto Wunder there with the gold card from Nukeduck. Means that XL are able to back away.
XL collapsed so quickly with their composition.
Full
Twisted
Power Rangers.
Fate ultimate, Finn ultimate. They basically just all ascend on the mid lane so rapidly that Fnatic aren't able to respond. A bit of an overcommitment there from Razork. After they'd forced Patrik back, they even tried an attempt at a dive, but the response from XL was just so fast.
I'll be the devil advocate and those say that, you know, that looked like a good play on towards Patrik in the mid lane where you could force it out. And then all of a sudden, as you just mentioned, all of XL are just there. And I think it just speaks to how familiar XL is facing a combo, playing a composition like they are right now, just collapsing immediately. It's great to see this lack of hesitation from them.
And the argument is, for Fnatic, do you not make the play because they might be able to get onto you? Because if Sivir's stunned into the tower there, perhaps she dies before the rest of them can react. Perhaps you're able to get that first kill, and then you're playing in a 5v4.
That's just the thing that makes it so difficult,
Exactly.
right?
I don't blame Fnatic for looking for the play. XL just a little bit better in that last fight, though. Fnatic now getting control of this blue side jungle, can push in and get this blue. Finn trading with Wunder still. Wunder ahead in this matchup as he was in the last, and you can see having been left alone with that top lane tower is giving him a few benefits. Frozen Fist is his first build here. Top lane tower is going to fall. Nukeduck does have the TP as well, but Finn now dismounted. Skull has run away, and there's no one here to save you. Finn tries to heal up with Guldborg, but it's not enough. Wunder able to tank the tower, but now to get their second kill of the game.
That is the one common mistake we've seen from XL in this series so far. They take trades when they're on the weak side of the map, and they die under the turret where they really don't have to. Finn getting dismounted before the rest of them collapse, especially when Drake is up as an objective, is a little lackluster. And great punish by Fnatic, realizing that the window is right open there, now netting themselves potentially an objective here.
I think XL's pretty happy with this trade, though. You've got to bear in mind that Fnatic invested 4 members towards that bot side play. They then also needed to reset. And look, XL got the tier 1 and top. They pushed that wave all the way into the tier 2. They then secured the mid lane. Oh, did they actually drop that mid lane tower? No, but it should be very low at this point. And they can just, it's like a few hits away. And then they can actually walk into the river and secure the Drake for themselves. Now, Nukeduck,
Cleanse coming out, there's the root with the Everfrost. Cullen coming down as well, and Upset. He used the cleanse, but not too much, as Nukeduck's just able to walk away from that one.
Good trade once again from Nukeduck. As you rightly said, gets the cleanse out. They're going to start tracking that cooldown immediately. And Nukeduck, you know he's going to have his eyes set. And props to Nukeduck, his ultimates have been very impactful this game. We haven't seen him roam an insane amount, but every play that's happened, he's been there, ready. And in that mid lane play, what may have gone unnoticed was that he actually flashed after Razork, even though he landed the stun card, to make sure that he could land both his wild cards, on top of the fact that he was able to land the Everfrost as well to set up for the kill. He's definitely been on point this series. We'll see if he can continue that level of performance as Finn once again trading with Wunder.
Do you win this? Burnout ticking?
I have no idea.
Well, there's a TF on the map, guys, so I mean, if Nukeduck just decides to have a bot side, they could always look for an extra collapse here, but the big thing is actually Razork has knocked this Riftel away. I believe he hit it with the passive out of vision and then dragged it and fought it rather outside of the Rift Scuttle here, so he didn't really get that vision and intel over to XL. So great stop by Razork there, just securing the Herald for themselves.
Fnatic keep within about 2,000 gold. XL, though, still in the ascendancy. 2 dragons to the good. You can see Sivir at 2 items as well. Phantom Dancer, Crack and Slayer complete for Patrik. And he's going to be a key part of their damage in these fights, as he was in Game 1. Destiny coming out, Nukeduck for their charge going in, but the Keeper's Verdict stopped with the unstoppable. Skull laughs in the face of a hammer, and they chase down Razork as well. 2 to XL, no reaction from Upset.
And it's just beautiful once again, the orchestration of that fight from XL. There's not even a response back from Fnatic. As soon as it happens, it's all disengage, 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 but you're not able to do it. Finn coming in clutch with the unstoppable. And Razork gets picked up as well.
When Nukeduck hits Upset with that thumbs up earlier, you know that he's typing in all chat, I'll see you in 30 seconds, buddy. I'll see you in 30 seconds. And the second he shows himself in mid lane, the ultimates come through. Just a great punish once again. And this just demonstrates the teamwork and the communication that's coming in through from XL. Like, they're just on the ball with their dives in the bot lane, the executions in the mid lane. The only good news for Fnatic here is it doesn't really convert into much else. No objective is really lost. Nothing is, like, really in control of XL. It's just another clean kill that goes into XL's back pocket.
Yeah, it's still so 600 gold coming through and still ultimates and map pressure, of course, being gained here. Even Finn and I think Mickey placing wards while this fight is happening. You know, vision control quite important. And I think one big thing this is as well is it's not just Yuumi coming through and making and breaking these fights here. They'll laugh later, maybe, hopefully, if you have a series. So far, XL haven't really given it to them, but I think...
through the pain, my friend, laugh through the pain.
It's that meme with the guy's smiling face crying on behind it.
I think the big thing for XL here is the fact that, you know, it's the two different compositions coming through as well. We see two different styles, and now Razork
does have flash. Knocked over the Sun Card, there's the Everfrost Chasers work, flash being used, flash away, TP coming in from Finn as he can charge into the back of the battle if he so desires. For the moment, though, XL will just get control over the Baron and over the top side river. However, there's a lot of... there's a Scuttler and 2 wards for Fnatic in the Baron pit, so XL would have to take those first before they can sneak this away.
I wondered if they would immediately turn towards that objective, but Razork already healed up, making his way back out onto the map, and Fnatic maintaining a contest. They're looking for a TP flank. Observers highlighting it.
Okay, so Finn has charge. Finn has charge. Finn has charge. Finn has charge. Finn, check your mobile phone, mate. You've got charge. Finn, you have charge. There we go!
Oh, good
block. Humanoid with a great block as he does get caught out. Finn was trying to charge away, couldn't quite get past Humanoid. And Humanoid knew how to play that one pretty well. Riftail going down here as well, and Fnatic pinging the top tier 2.
That was the main problem for Finn there. He wanted to use it, but he was aware that Humanoid, with both the E and the W, could get in the way and be that massive pain in the backside for him. He saw a window where he almost got past, but even then, Humanoid was able to interrupt. Now at the Herald, Fnatic have a very big window of opportunity here to get some gold into their back pockets.
And Wunder's pushing mid lane as well. He knows that he can get tier 1 here, even if XL come to defend the tier 2. So Fnatic get the kill and get a benefit out of it, even though this Rift Herald won't net them a tier 2 in the top lane.
And getting this mid lane turret would actually be quite huge, seeing as there's 40 seconds on towards the Drake. But I think if Fnatic decide to stay around for it, then they have to back up towards, and they would just be giving over that third Drake. And I think that's why the resets has to come through now, because with now XL coming out of their respawns, with them now being able to set up for the Drake, they have just had their reset timers, and Fnatic need to respect that.
The Dragon now spawning 20 seconds away. Fnatic have control over the river. This bot wave, it's in a bit of an awkward spot for XL. They could do with sending someone down to push it out so that they have another avenue into the river, but already Fnatic going to disengage. Humanoid going to get a little bit of gold into his back pocket. He must be close to his Zhonya's. Likely what he's working towards. Let's see if he goes back to base. No, he's just going to make his way towards top lane. Fnatic going to make the call, not going to contest.
And those numbers you see on your screen right now, that's the big thing, right? That's the difference in inventory. They might have the gold that Fnatic currently have, but they've not invested a lot of it, and that's why they're just forced to back off. And once again, due to those late reset timers. So the third Drake, uncontested, soul point now, just going over to XL. I think they're quite happy about that.
Yeah, and even though Fnatic were able to make a good play up towards the top side, you can see XL didn't lose a tower out of that, just lost some health in top and in mid. They are still 2,000 gold ahead, and they're looking for what would only be their 4th ever win in an LEC playoffs. Last split, of course, they took Vitality to all 5 games, went 3-2, or 2-3 in that situation. Fnatic have a few more wins. They've been to a few more playoffs, 10 times the amount, in fact. And it was 2016 the last time they got knocked out in this round of playoffs. In that first round, as Kled looks to charge up towards the top lane, and Humanoid's called out, trying to get away. The Everfrost coming out. Destiny stopped by the Everfrost. Nukeduck gets a Sun Card in once again, and Humanoid has nowhere to go. In a side lane, Humanoid dies.
And the pings on the Baron are immediately coming through from XL.
Not too sure what Nukeduck is doing there. There's no punish on the bot side of the map. The vision control, of course, is there, but you're playing against a TF, you're playing against a Kled. There's just so much that gets onto you so quickly. So one misstep and you're punished immediately.
Really good pick there from XL, and it's really been the name of the game over the last few minutes. Fnatic finding picks, XL finding picks, but it's XL that's walking away with the objectives. They're 3 dragons up, they have a tower advantage. Fnatic doing what they can, but we haven't really seen them find a successful play on the map just yet.
Just going into those 3 minutes here, they don't even have to look for Baron. That's the big thing, right? Yes, they can keep the pressure up. They can keep forcing Fnatic back on towards the towers and get that aggressive line of vision. But the fact of the matter is that in 3 minutes, well, that Infernal Soul will just be on the cards. And that for XL surely it's going to break the game completely. They already have so much range to play around with the rapid fire cannon on the Twisted Fate, Sivir as well with her entire kit, and then of course the availability for always just charging on your opponents immediately.
Humanoid does not have TP here. Has he stolen away the Twisted Fate ultimate? I'm not sure that he has.
He used it in the last fight up towards the top side, so he can't have it right now.
Yeah.
Hijack does have an internal cooldown on enemy champions. I was wondering if Patrik would have his Infinity Edge on his previous pack. Just short of it right now. Probably just needs a couple of hundred gold.
That was really scary.
Yep.
You are pushing up mid, you don't have any towers, and you're playing against a Kled. Trust me, you're getting engaged on. I mean, Civic Kled, to add to that. Like, the speed, it's just like, it's like watching a Formula 1 race, you know?
Yeah, good race today.
I didn't watch it. I don't know Formula 1. I was just saying that they go fast. That was my only
They
point.
do. You could have said watching Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah.
Also, it was great.
Did you watch that one?
No.
Watching Cars. Lightning McQueen.
Ka-chow!
Also didn't watch that one.
What?
Yeah. What? Wasn't the Formula 1 reference good enough? They go fast, that's the point.
Yeah, but it's more your dearth of experience in pop culture.
Now, Finn,
I see.
in a side lane, Razork, Upset, and Humanoid looking for him. And Humanoid might actually find him here.
Found.
Going in, bear trap on a rope, used by Finn. Might have to get out of this. One dodging away. Charge,
Here's
stolen
the
away,
race.
counter charge.
Wait, did he try and use counter charge,
Yeah,
but he just ran into Finn's back?
Finn is
Acceleration was too big.
Look, Finn is Alonso, and Humanoid was Hamilton.
Yeah.
today.
Right.
Okay, that's,
Yes.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I totally get that.
There's
he
3
crashed.
people in the audience that got it, like, laugh. That was good.
Nice.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, let's go.
If Pedro was here, he would have loved that one.
He
Anyway,
would have loved that one.
XL going to set up around the Baron now, a minute and a half before the dragon spawns, and they do have Infinity Edge on the Sivir. 3 items complete on her. She's incredibly strong. Patrik, let's actually have a quick look at how much damage he's been putting out in this game.
Let's do that, man.
We can have a look at everyone's. Well, Kled.
Wow.
You wanted to make a point and it didn't quite come to fruition,
Yeah, so
did it?
what's coming up here?
800 more damage than Upset. Just saying. Just saying.
I mean, the main reason why Finn's damage numbers are so high is because every time we pan down to the bot lane, it's just Wunder and Finn slapping each other.
Yep.
And of course, that has inflated his damage numbers just a bit. So we can call that fake damage, you know? We can call it fake. But the real damage is soon to come. 26 minutes in, Dragon spawns in minutes time. That will be Soul Point. And XL will definitely want to get their hands on that, and Fnatic will be forced to fight them.
And XL just have so many more tools to play multiple lanes as they set up around objectives, right? You can put Finn down in bottom lane, he can TP in. You've got Destiny's come forward as well, and you can see Hylissang just caught out by Markoon, who dashes across the wall. XL in prime position to take both the Soul and the Baron if they want.
And the big thing that you don't often take into account is that that's Fnatic main line of vision gone. Yes, he's not doing the damage, but he's the one coming in to give you the information. Outside of that, you have to expend the pink wards, and you have to be using the Humanoid yellow trinket. He still has it in an inventory, so now 30 seconds to the Drake. And I think Fnatic, they're going to be struggling with this one.
Fnatic's backs are against the wall once again. XL, they look shaky at the end of the regular season, but they've used this time effectively and they've come into playoffs well prepared. The history, the memes, the story that exists around XL is that they've never made it to playoffs, and even when they did, they got knocked out in the first round. They're looking to change that story today as Wunder may be caught out.
Stone Cold going in. Wunder still has the Dragon's Descent here, so should be able to jump away if he needs. They were trying to burn that before the fight began. The Dragon now available for XL and for Fnatic to fight. Glacial Prison going out. Nukeduck able to cleanse away from it. Finn looking for that flank position. Wunder still has that Dragon's Descent. Dives onto the backline. Patrik has no Mikyx to save him here. Nukeduck once again with the Stone Cold. Going to cleanse away as well. And Patrik able to survive down towards the bottom side. Exhausted. Razork still chasing, but he just can't get close enough to this damn Sivir. Upset flashes the wall into the midst of XL. Do they have the damage taken down? They do. Finn will get him. Humanoid now diving in with the Kingslayer with the healing, trying to do everything he can, but he just can't do enough. Razork gets one in response. It's 2v2 left on the map, supports, and a top laner versus a jungler.
I can tell you right now, that damage is not fake from Finn as he is tearing Fnatic apart. He is on the hunt, he has a cow on his back, and he wants blood.
Finn still looking for the chase here. Bone Trap on the rope, a possibility, but the Aqua Prism will land. And Finn will just get priority down towards this bottom side.
But still, what a bloody fight, and a lot was expanded from all of the teams going into that one. Barely any summoner spells, actually no summoner spells, except the teleports are after that fight.
I mean, come on, Fnatic. What, is it personal? Because, like, you guys were really committed to killing Patrik here, and just watch him in this fight. They can see that the cat is not on top of him, so Wunder dives on top of him. Razork tries to go for the flash knock, but a really good flash from Patrik, constantly dishing out damage while kiting backwards. Is able to sidestep everything. The peel is good from Markoon to keep Humanoid locked up. And then Upset gets exhaust from Mikyx, but is finally able to get him down. Of course, he has to commit his life to getting this, as Finn is able to dish out the damage on the backline. Nukeduck buys time with the Zhonyas. They get the kill onto Humanoid, but Razork is able to secure another, and it ends up being only 3 for 3 at the end of that fight, and we're right back at it.
Ding ding, round 2, let's go. XL have control of the river, 1 ward in the Pixel Bush for Fnatic. A control ward in the Dragon Pit as well.
Look at top lane though, Fnatic have the advantage here. That tower is slowly being chipped away. They should be able to secure another objective, and they have control of the mid lane.
Mission control coming through, pink ward's down as well, it's been responded here. Finn in the mid lane does have that ultimate with level 16 if he wants to join the fight, but he's also singled out. Need to be careful.
No flashes for anyone in this fight.
5,000 HP on the Dragon. Keeper's verdict just short. 3,000 on it now. Glacial Prism going out. It's smited. It's secured. Infernal Soul to excel. And you have to deal with a Patrik who just burned through Fnatic. Shot after shot with the ricochet is enough. Patrik going to take out 1. There's a second as Kled on the backline able to get that. Wunder forced away. Patrik boomerang not quite there. Fnatic walk away. 3 members strong. But XL get the soul and will look for more. Wunder not going to get out of this one. Markoon hits him with the flail. Wunder tries to walk away. Wunder burning him. Okay, you guys got me excited for a second. Markoon gets the kill.
But what a beautiful fight coming through from XL, and it comes down to a 50-50 in the end. This second one that Markoon is able to dish up here. His smite has been so true today. And even Finn in the backline, 1 versus 3, finding the kills, allowing the rest of XL to peel Patrik. Infernal Soul has been picked up. Death Timer still active on Fnatic, and Baron on the cards.
And how obnoxious is Finn in these fights? Kled just refuses to die, and he's causing so much chaos for Fnatic. Let's have a look at this one. The ultimate comes out from Markoon onto Razork. The smite comes through as well. Wunder with a really good ultimate, but then look at Finn on the back line, immediately dives onto Upset and says, hello, why don't we have a game of tag? Let's see who can get away from who. Humanoid gets chunked down off the back of Patrik. He's constantly kiting back with the Yuumi on his back as well. And XL just clean up the fight.
And the biggest thing is just not allowing Upset to be on the enemy backline, right? He's the one that really still threats them. He's the one that still has the damage coming through, despite the scoreline not really showing that. He still has a lot of damage in this Lucian. But when he's not allowed to get onto the Sivir, it's just not going to matter.
And for XL, off the back of Markoon smites, off the back of Finn this game, it is a Cinderella story for them if they can take down Fnatic, although Fnatic haven't looked at their peak this year, I'd say. For XL to be able to pick up a win in this series would be absolutely monumental. Glacial Prism wide there. Inhibitor tower the target for XL as they push in the top lane. Another boomerang coming out, and XL and Patrik are just able to advance, continuing to step forward. You can see the damage from Upset though. Patrik down to half HP. The inhibitor stands for the moment, but here comes Patrik once again. Steps back in the ricochets.
Boomerang?
A boomerang of destruction for XL. Charge out from Finn. He was trying to get around the wall there, unable to do it, but able to force Wunder away. Meanwhile, Nukeduck is trying to get this mid lane wave in towards that tier 2. Humanoid trying to defend. The rest of XL on the chase. No charge for Finn, remember, as he's around the side, but he's just trading onto Wunder. Dragon's Ascent, a possibility for Wunder. Might look for a trade here, but he's 2 levels down and in for a world of hurt if he does go in. 1 cannon minion survives for XL. Still a minute 20 on this Baron for them. They've broken 1 inhibitor tower. They're looking to make it 2, looking to put the final nail in the coffin of this game. Glacial Prism stolen away, but it's only onto Markoon. Very at home in the ice is that Sejuani title. Wade used as well as Humanoid steps forward. A good act. The Prism's only going to hit onto Finn though. And XL can just retreat. They've got a Yuumi to heal them up if they want. Bear trap on a rope just wide. Glacial Prism popped onto Wunder. XL will disengage. They get 2 inhibitor towers and an inhibitor out of that push.
XL, they're going to be pretty happy with that for the time being. There's still 50 seconds left on the Baron, but they're going to use this time to reset, spend that gold, and then get back out onto the map. What a glow-up it has been for XL.
Oh, yeah.
And what a performance overall. You can see Patrik, there's the damage that Medic was talking about earlier. In the team fights, she is just unleashed, and there are going to be a lot of question marks for Fnatic. This is a roster of champions. Wunder, Humanoid, Hylissang have all been accredited as the best in their roles at some point in their careers. Upon joining this roster, the expectation was, alongside the upstart Razork, who had a phenomenal impression left when playing with Misfits alongside Vedius, Upset, the AD carry considered supposed to be the best, supposed to be the replacement of Reckless. For this roster to fall short here would be nothing but a disappointment. XL looking to continue the pressure, looking to break into the base of Fnatic once more.
Baron buff.
Razork going forward, Baron buff expires, as you say. Glacial Prison, they're going to hit onto Razork. Mikyx to cleanse him away. Dragons sent onto the backline. The final chapter's only going to hit onto one, but Wunder's already dead. The Dragon deceased in XL, looking to wreak hell amongst Fnatic. Patrik caught in the bubble, but that bubble is going to burst. Patrik stepping forward. A 2v3 forces upset to cleanse away. Hylissang retreats back to the fountain as well. A triple for Patrik, and XL have the win in their eyes.
Yeah, despite no Baron buff, it just does not matter. The damage is too obscene, too obscure coming through from XL, and now they have a chance to just look Fnatic dead in the eye, try and take the second game of the series. But Fnatic still available for fighting back, but Upside, he does not have it in him this time around.
XL, the Nexus towers, their focus, they will take them both. The Nexus there as well, but they want a little more blood. Hylissang forced to flash away. XL one step away from the furthest they've ever been in playoffs.
A commanding performance from XL. This one was even more convincing than the last. And question marks continue to rise for Fnatic. Last year, they were able to run the gauntlet. They made their way to the finals, winning every single matchup. They went the full 5 games every single time, but now they find themselves staring at the eyes of defeat. 0-2 against XL, the roster that many did not expect to put up a performance like this, but they're looking strong coming into playoffs.
Yeah,
Huge.
it's huge. Usually you guys talk a little bit more because I've just done, all the shouting stuff.
Oh,
at the
you
end
want
of
a
plays.
break?
Yeah, if you could just talk a little bit more.
And also, it's just crazy the way it's stunning, right? Because it's 2 different fashions coming through from XL, and I think they must have had some good weeks of practice. That break week coming through from them. Because remember back to week 8, Fnatic was the team that was struggling, but they came into game 1 still looking decent in the early game. XL as well was struggling in week 8. They were the one who had the easiest way to make it to playoffs,
For sure.
but definitely struggled the hardest to obtain that. And I think coming into this week now in playoffs, completely revitalized.
And the biggest thing for me is Yuumi again. We
Yep.
talked about it in the
Bennett.
Rogue versus Mad series. We have to bring it up again. Like, Fnatic is in a very serious problem if they don't find an answer to deal with this Yuumi.
They really are. We're going to hand it over to our analysts to break down that game and see if they agree that perhaps the cat should sit on the bench.
I think we love cats, but it should definitely be on the bench. But let me talk about XL for a second. The way they have stepped onto stage today, the way they have not only played on the Rift, but also approached these drafts, Broxah, they just seemed like the better equipped team today in this match.
They're just one step ahead in every aspect at this point. It's the drafts, it's the gameplay, like how well coordinated they are as a team, how they're able to set up the bot lane for success, how they're utilizing the Yuumi to snowball Patrik and turn him into a late game god. Like, Fnatic hasn't even been close so far.
I think the most mind-blowing thing is that we mentioned how XL don't win when they're on red side. Their odds look really bad. They only had 1 win before coming into this playoffs game. And right now they've picked 2 on red side, and they felt really prepared on both the drafts. On one of them, they banned both Zeri and Sivir, and we thought they didn't have an answer to the handshake on the Lucian. They did, the Nilla. Then Fnatic was like, wait, the Nilla is too strong. They banned the Nilla away, where they leave Sivir open and the handshake with that. And back to back, they've brought down the bot lane 5 members to try and get Patrik ahead.
Let's take a look at it, because you were calling it out in the green room, Trouble, saying XL again, like clockwork, they're all going down bot.
And I feel like they're all very ready to pull those TP plays towards the bot side of the map. Dive the Nami Lucian, because you know what? They're extremely squishy. And you've got the likes of a Sejuani, you've got the likes of a Kled that can take aggro from the tower and then drop it with Skarl as well. And then not only do you get kills, you deprive that Lucian of experience, you deprive that Lucian of gold. And if Lucian Nami does not snowball as a bot lane, it becomes really difficult to play later on unless you're in the LPL.
And this was just an incredibly smart play from Finn, because he actually walked bot lane all the way from base, knowing that Wunder wouldn't be able to get something done on the other side of the map. Humanoid wasn't base, wanting to TP in, but TP wasn't available, there wasn't anything he could do, and all of a sudden, because of Finn's roam, XL has a 5v3 situation, but easy win from there with the Sivir Yuumi.
And is it correct to say that because it's Lucian and Nami, of course, that one gank is actually fine? It's like enough. They don't even have to expend more going back there, because they know that come the skirmishes at that point in time, Broxah, they'll be fine on XL's side.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think Lucian Nami has to be able to play aggressive, it has to snowball. Fnatic just weren't able to set them up. And after Finn makes that play, knowing he's going to sacrifice his own lane a little bit, like, there's just nothing they can do, and I think it's a really smart play by Finn.
But Broxah, talk to me about Finn a little bit. You know him very well, but specifically about his Kled, it also shows that he must feel quite comfortable in this match so far.
Yeah, actually, every time I've been here at the LEC, I've been messaging Finn. I'm like, Finn, are you gonna give us the Kled? Give us those spicy picks, your favorite champions. And I think the way that Excel set up the Kled was so smart. They picked the Sejuani early. They gave Finn last pick so they could see if he could get a good matchup. And with this Shyvana being blind pick, Finn is getting a great Kled matchup. And Kled is not a champion us pro players get to see that much.
No.
It's a bit of a niche pick, a spicy one. So, you know, Finn got a matchup he's incredibly happy with. Wunder, on the other hand, you know, he just hasn't played against Kled much. Like, what is he gonna do?
And let's not forget that also Kled has been picked again by Finn this season, and he clapped Armut's Aatrox with it. The guy is so proficient on the champion that he can run you down, and the champion really does thrive in compositions where you want to be kiting, and when you have a Sivir in your team, being able to engage and disengage with the champion is just so important. And honestly, I feel like so far, these teamfights for Excel have gone so stellar because everyone's objective in Excel is protect Patrik. We protect Patrik, Patrik attack, we win the fights.
And just the tools, the Sejuani prio as well, which is helping tons. The fact that Patrik is on that Sivir, supported by his Yuumi, it's all working out. Let's take a look at some crucial factors throughout the series. First up, Patrik, of course, Trouble. He's been in EU, he's been at the top of EU for a long time, but this to me really seems to be kind of the possibility for a defining run in playoffs if he keeps going like this.
I'm just gonna call it bot diffy so far, because this is what it came down to. We saw it in the Madden Rogue series as well. It was very bot-centric. These two bot lanes were also getting a lot of priority, and it's the same thing here. Youngbuck seems to have the picks ready and prepared for Patrik for whatever Fnatic will throw their way, especially when you're on red side. Patrik so far has outperformed Upset.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say, when you say he has the picks prepared, yes, the Nila in game one, stroke of genius. Now he played Sivir Yuumi though. How can you not see that coming?
Well, the thing is also, you need to keep in mind that Fnatic just banned 3 AD carries.
Yeah.
They did everything to get Upset a good AD carry matchup. They first picked Lucian, and they still got stumped bot. Like, you know, what are you even going to do at that point? I think they need to stop trying to brute force a winning bot scenario. It's just not going to happen. Look to get an advantage elsewhere.
Love it. Where could that be, Trouble, for Fnatic, if they want to rally back in the series?
It's the Gragas extraordinaire himself. I think Wunder has had fantastic series so far, especially when you're in the losing team back-to-back and people can actually pinpoint and say that you have been having a fantastic series so far. That says a lot playing on the losing team. I feel like his Shyvana was fantastic. He was finding multi-man knockups in the backline. He was zoning away members, and also his first game was stellar as well on the Gwen. One-man carry. Can this man do it? Maybe they could also be looking towards that Gragas later on.
Maybe. We'll see as we get closer to this break. Before we dive into the picks and bans, the Fnatic that we know, the organization of Fnatic, always stepped up when it mattered most, right? Be it when you're down 4 games and you need to win so many to get to the next stage of groups or you're knocked out, be it to get into the playoffs, be it to get to a final, Broxah. We've always corresponded, the Fnatic brand, with this resiliency. Do you think this Fnatic iteration has it in them, though, to make the reverse sweep happen today?
As of right now, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think Fnatic actually went big this offseason. They, you know, got an expensive roster, big players who have achieved a lot in the past. And when you play for Fnatic, there's one simple expectation, that is to win. Like, if you don't win, it's a massive failure. And let alone not even making it to Worlds. They have to find a way to make this count.
And Trouble on the other side for Excel. You know, that history they have at Fnatic now in this specific matchup, they could book their tickets to the next round.
Absolutely, and we said every time that you develop and evolve as a team, you need to take a step further. It was last spring that they just made playoffs. They got knocked out on the first best-of series that they had. Now again, they made playoffs. This is their best-of series, and it's looking like a W. That's the one step further that they can take for now.
Oh God, it's still all up in the air. Excel, they are on the verge of completing the 3-0 sweep over Fnatic, but can they complete it? After the break, we will be covering the picks and bans, possibly for the final game of week 1. Stay tuned.